Basically, I take pictures of stuff. So I know, okay, on this day, we were running normal, everything was fine. That's how we figured out one of the issues with the frac car. I took a picture of it one day because I was trying to explain something to somebody. And then maybe like 2 weeks later, the information on it was different. Fuel level was lower. It's not a fuel level, it's the amount of restriction going through the fuel filter. Now this thing gets to 10, you're gonna have a problem out here. It's just gonna cut off. And if they don't know that, okay, they're gonna be trying to troubleshoot stuff versus just going directly to that problem. So this frac pump is set up in a way like that where, certain stuff will tell you certain stuff, but not everybody knows to explain that to somebody when they're showing somebody how to run their equipment. Not only that, they have to remember all this stuff. There's a life for lockup. Lockup is like putting it in 4-wheel drive. I'm pretty sure I've explained that before. So you can be in 2-wheel drive, but you may slip a little in some situations. But may stall a little bit. look down there and see that drops that recipe. You can shut this down if you need to. They need to do some maintenance on it. You don't have to. You choose to lock out, tag out. You choose to lock out, tag out. You don't. Just make sure you're aware of what's going on in here, what's going on outside, if somebody's working on it or something. Make sure you don't bump these, hit these, don't have anything up here that'll fall off. If your AC stops working, get you some earplugs, open the windows, turn your radio up where you can communicate. That's going to be your day until they can get it fixed. So, keep that in mind. Also, keep track of these band pulses. Once they read out, see anything different, something's not reading out, something's not working, something's not saying the normal information that should be saying. Keep track of your counters. If you're sending a sweep or you're sending any kind of extra chemical, you're sending a slug with that name, what a sweep this slug is, they want some extra of whatever chemical sent down hole. Sometimes it can just be some water. Let's say they want 10 barrels of fresh water. So they'll go swap the tanks, call out roll fresh. I'm gonna make a mark when it's on fresh. I'm gonna subtract 2 barrels from the time that they set it on what my calendar is. Because it's 2 barrels for that water to get through that line. The situation I'm in right now, there's more holes over there. So it actually takes a little bit longer for that water to get from there to here and actually be on the tip. In some situations, if they give me a heads up before time, I can turn my water off, allow it to drop down so that I can just have that fresh water going in there by the time it gets over here, and I can do it a lot more effectively. It's just a matter of what they call for over there. That's what they say they want every single time. That's what
got 1500 on the well, 27 on the choke, returns at 3.5, sand 2%, water weight 8.6. Got that.
If that's what they say they want every single time, that's what you're going to get with every single time. My job, your job, is to give them, is to take the information that you receive and apply it to these controllers. But some people, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I apply the information that I get to these controllers. That way, everything works in unison. talk about some of